Nonviolent protests are statistically twice as effective as armed conflicts in achieving political change, but only when they engage at least 3.5% of the population. This phenomenon, often referred to as people power, can paradoxically be undemocratic, as a determined minority may impose its will on the majority. A comprehensive study by Erica Chenoweth, a Harvard political scientist, examined movements from 1900 to 2006 and found that nonviolent campaigns succeeded 53% of the time, compared to 26% for violent ones. When these peaceful movements reached the 3.5% participation threshold, they never failed to bring about change. This research, detailed in Chenoweth's book Why Civil Resistance Works, The Strategic Logic of Nonviolent Conflict, underscores that civil disobedience is not only a moral stance but a potent tool for political transformation. Historical figures such as Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, Mahatma Gandhi, and Martin Luther King Jr. exemplify the power of nonviolent resistance. Chenoweth suggests that these movements succeed more often because they attract a wider demographic, creating societal disruptions that can halt normal urban functions. Additionally, security forces might hesitate to suppress these protests, fearing harm to their own friends and family in the crowd. Examples of successful peaceful protests include the People Power movement against the Marcos regime in the Philippines, which peaked at 2 million participants, the Brazilian uprising of 1984 to 1985 with 1 million demonstrators, and the Velvet Revolution in Czechoslovakia in 1989 with 500,000 participants. While these numbers are impressive, they represent a small percentage of the population, indicating that many more may silently support the cause. This dynamic has its pros and cons. If the minority's cause is just, their success is beneficial. However, they could also be misinformed or driven by negative biases. Despite their relative success, peaceful resistance still fails nearly half the time, leaving the question of which outcomes are truly beneficial. Recent events, such as protests against figures like Pablo Iglesias or Juan Carlos Monedero, highlight the subjective nature of demonstrations. We often support protests that align with our beliefs and oppose those that challenge them. The challenge lies in using protest participation as a measure to guide national policy while ensuring fundamental rights. Before jumping to conclusions, let's take a moment to discuss these complexities over a coffee.